So today we're going to talk all about our kind of claim to fame is our organic growth. We don't pay for a lot, if anything, and we've grown a lot anyway, so we're just going to go through how we did that.
And just a little bit about Success. The original Success magazine brand was established in 1897, so we're one of the oldest print publications by philosopher Orson Swett Marden. Kind of business practices, personal development, both professionally and personally, to get you in the best physical, mental shape that you can to do the best in your career. So our company, Success Partners, our parent company, relaunched and bought the brand in 2008, and Success.com did a relaunch at the same time. We addressed the needs of a workforce that kind of entered after the change of not going up the corporate ladder for 15 years until you get a watch kind of thing. So we live in a highly competitive world where immediate performance is critical. So we're looking for those people who are self-starters and really looking to take their career into their own hands rather than letting a corporation build them up slowly.
All right, so we're going to kind of go through all of our biggest channels of distribution, and our biggest one is social media, shocker. Social drives 50% of Success.com's traffic. You can see on the graph that Facebook is our biggest monster. We have a reach of 3.5 million with Success's Facebook. Following up is Twitter at 260,000, so it's much smaller, and obviously that's on our to-do list is to grow all the other ones, but the one that we focus on most is Facebook because it is our biggest driver. Instagram, although it's less than 1% of traffic to Success.com, it accounts for our fastest growth among all platforms over the last year, and we'll get to those growth numbers at the end. But yeah, so you can just see this is 50% of all of our traffic, and Facebook is huge. And the way that we have grown on Facebook, like everyone's been talking about, is quality content. So we're editors first, and we're learning the technical side of it as we go. So this is kind of our niche, and it's worked out for us. You can see we kind of have a formula of all of our most popular content. It's all personal development angled, but the numbers in the titles do well. The positive psychology angles, self-discovery, self-improvement, youth-centric angles, motivational advice, brain life hacks, and then our biggest thing that is always a viral piece of content are anything about successful people, their traits, habits, any tips that they can give. So yeah, these are 5 of our biggest ever. So 9 smart spending and saving tips because everybody loves money and wants more of it. 21 things I wish I knew when I was 21 is general life advice, which is always a winner. Mentally tough people, books are huge for us, book lists always take off, and positive thinking.
A little bit about who the Success Reader is. Since Facebook drives 90% of our traffic, that's where we get most of our information about our user. They're millennial, they're split pretty evenly between male and female. So we happen to have just as many fans in India as in the US, which is kind of interesting. I think the next one. They are managers, accountants, entrepreneurs, artists, and freelancers. Some of them own their homes, but others are fine renting for now. Most of them are college-educated, budget-conscious people who are constantly focused on improving themselves. So again, with that self-improvement aspect. They're risk-takers, dreamers, and doers. They're also part of the U economy, which is a term that Success branded last year, which is a term to encompass the ever-changing work landscape. We've heard it called the gig economy, the sharing economy. This is kind of umbrella over the handful of those kind of movements. Basically, the growing global network of people who are taking the future of work into their own hands. They don't need a corporation to bring them up the ladder. They're going to go up a ladder however they want to. So that's really who we're trying to reach, and it's helped differentiate us from some of our biggest competitors, Inc., Entrepreneur, Fast Company, things like that. So we've really grown that niche, and it's worked really well for us. This is how our audience describes success and also the things that they worry about. So these are a lot of the topics that we're constantly working to improve and have those resources available for them.
So, let's see. Yes, okay, so going back to the quality content, our focus is heavily on that because of Facebook algorithms and because the way that they favor quality content. So that's why our focus was there, is because We wanted to tend to the audience that has treated us well. So our organic traffic, obviously everybody here knows what that is. Usually it's the unpaid search results, and in our case, a big driver of that is social, which in a lot of people's cases it is, and email lists also. So our numbers are organic because of our focus on quality content. We don't pay for clicks. We have few and far between sponsored posts on Facebook, but for the most part, it is all organic. So we rely on social media SEO best practices and email newsletter best practices. And like other people have mentioned here today, that's kind of where the focus seems to be going for a lot of media outlets, shifting from quantity to quality. And thankfully, with our small team, we're appreciative of that strategy. We can only push so much through the pipeline, and we don't have an open contribution platform. Cici and I touch every single piece of content that goes up. And so with a small team, small but mighty, we have a very big vetting process, and it takes a little longer sometimes to get things up, but we always make sure that's the best and the best writers and the best advice. We don't skimp on that. So you can see our year-over-year fan base growth for each has grown, how it has grown. For Facebook in the last year, or from October 2015 to 2016, was 26.9. Twitter also is a big growth at 39%. Instagram, like we said, is our biggest at 431%. We're still trying to figure out how to get traffic from there, but that's a sweet spot for us this past year. Everything else falls in at small numbers, but it still contributes to our overall growth. So back to our other content types, we'll kind of dive in.
Because our biggest growth is social, obviously, but kind of who knows what the next wave of technology is going to bring. So we're constantly looking to keep widening that funnel. So here's some of the other channels that we've opened.
So organic search, we are learning as we go with this. Like I said, we came in as editorial, and we thankfully have a person on our team who knows a lot about SEO and has taught us everything he knows to help us apply it to our content. So there are a couple of ways that we have, well, I guess our little fun fact about our organic, we've doubled it in 2016. And that we did it, some of the ways that we've done it are recognizing the content that people frequently search for. So our example here, this is our double, this is doubling. And then, okay, so we use Google Trends to recognize what people in our space are searching for. One of those examples on Google Trends was positivity, that we found a lot of success in that content. So then our second step is to provide the content that people are looking for. So actually this is John's article, I just now realized this. 15 uplifting quotes for positive vibes is one of our best SEO articles. And so that falls right into the niche of what our audience is searching for, and so we find the people that can write that content, or we write it ourselves to fit into that space to get Google on our good side. And then we create other articles that contain that term positivity or positive or any sidebars of that. Other ways that we have increased organic search is republishing and updating archived content. So anything that's 2 years or older, that all of our content actually is evergreen for the most part. So a lot of it can just be updated, refreshed, and republished so that it pops back up into Google and gets a look 2 years later outside of social media, and hopefully more looks on Google. Oh, that's this. But yeah, so those are just a couple of the ways that we've upped our SEO content. In 2016, we upped our traffic from our we have an overall 5 email newsletters, which went up 80% for our growth. Our strategy is we have a few different newsletters based on the types of people, and we have one that's specifically for a thought leader that we have that writes a monthly column for us and a few monthly blogs. So we're reaching out to specifically fans of that specific person, but then linking that back to success. We also have a weekly recap newsletter that contains the best articles from success.com that week. So kind of giving people the opportunity to go back for anything they missed. By introducing, of course, pop-ups and mid-article sign-ups, we started that in August, and that's given us quite a bit of growth. But really capitalizing on our wide newsletter list and really capitalizing to bring that back. Did you do 80%? So that's, okay, those two. All right, so the next group of content are content partnerships. This is a new beast for us also over the last year. We hadn't really been involved in anything yet. No one had reached out to us. We didn't really know that it was a thing. And then, so starting in July of last year is when we kind of introduced content partnerships to success.com. So in the past year, once we introduced that, we have doubled our referral traffic. So we signed on also with a platform called PubExchange, which some of you might know of. They help us manage some of our traffic partnerships through a widget on our site. So that's a small part of it. And then our bigger part are the personal relationships that we've built with outlets like CNN Money, recruiter.com, honorsociety.org. I'm blanking, but a lot of sites that we have different kinds of partnerships. So social partnerships where we just exchange content and share each other's content on our own platforms. We also have syndicated partnerships where people syndicate our content or vice versa. And then, yeah, we have also business partnerships that those are kind of like customized partnerships, I guess. We either syndicate or we share, or it's mutually beneficial to both of us, and that has obviously paid off in our referral traffic. Oh, we don't have a graph in the next one.
Last year we launched 2 motivational podcasts that both hit the iTunes Top 150. The first one was Success Talks. It officially launched in October of last year. It's been a cornerstone of our coverage since the magazine's relaunch in 2008. It originally was a CD, an actual physical CD in the magazine, and then we realized nobody has CD players anymore. So we were a little late to that party, but we transformed that into a podcast that has interviews with top thought leaders in both the motivational personal development. Those include big names such as Tony Robbins and things like that. We also have Success Insider, which launched in late March of last year, that debuted the iTunes Top 100 Business Chart and appeared on the iTunes New and Noteworthy list within 24 hours. And both our editor-in-chief of the print magazine as well as our director of digital content are the hosts of that podcast, and it's been really popular. In 8 months, it hit a milestone with 1 million total downloads. So it's been really popular for us.
So as you can see, we've expanded our channels in the past year alone, thankfully to our team growth a little bit. We added a couple people to our team, which helped us get out of tunnel vision into just creating content and being able to focus on distribution and how to get more eyeballs, but also still have the quality content. So we want the clicky headlines, but we want the quality once you get in there so that people will keep coming back. So because of all of our efforts, we're small, but we're mighty. And for us, we've seen significant growth because of these. So it started out in 2013, our monthly average was only 258,000. Today it's this is a little outdated, but we're averaging at 2.5 million uniques right now a month. So we've seen almost 50% or above growth every single year, and we're still growing. So yeah, we're just kind of learning as we go and trying to do what we can to open up all of the channels. And that's really all we got.
Questions? So the partnership, so Brian asked me to ask a question earlier, and that is bottom line, ROI. Is this more about eyeballs? Is it about money? Is it about both? I'm guessing the answer is it's about both, but at what stage are you in that being at fruition for both?
We're lucky in that we haven't, we aren't relying a ton on ad money. Up until this point, we hadn't been with our parent company. So we're kind of it's very different from the rest of the publishing industry that we're kind of able to operate on our own without having to be concerned about the ad revenue, but now we're concerned about the ad revenue. And so that's why you kind of see our efforts increasing and multiplying, because we want to get into that next bucket to be able to get more ads on the site, in the magazine. So yeah, it's about both. We want exposure and we want brand awareness, but we also want ad revenue.
Well, and to that point, we're still kind of growing our ad revenue. I think once we widen our reach and as we continue to widen reach as we are, I think that allows us to have bigger conversations with bigger.
Yeah.
Right now, Deluxe is one of our biggest ad on digital, and so I think the more that we keep this kind of growth up, the more we can have bigger conversations at bigger tables. So.
And do those partnerships look like different things in different partnerships? Do you structure them differently? Is it a
Yeah,
content
so
exchange?
I'm figuring it out. I'm managing them all in Google spreadsheets. So they're all customized based on just who the person is or the company is, what they want to accomplish, what we want to accomplish. So it's literally different. And we have about 15 partnerships right now. The biggest ones are probably Scene and Money, and we briefly did stuff with Time, but still trying to find out what they want to be able to work with them.
So for all the different platforms, how many different versions of content, like one particular article, how many different versions do you guys end up producing?
It kind of depends on the piece of content, especially with profiles, which mostly come from print and don't perform as well online because that's not what our .com audience is expecting from us. So in that way, we're trying to reformat how we're splitting up that content, whether it be integrating graphs and using some other tools within the body copy, and whether we've also started going into Facebook native videos, which we just assigned out to kind of widen that. So for any piece of content, probably 2 to 3 pieces come out of it for a big print piece.
And for the, so print is sort of gets special treatment, but in general, the digital content, is it all about the same formula that you would use? Does that
It
work?
falls, yeah, and we call our the ones that take off our viral content, we call our best ofs. Those are the ones that will get repurposed the most. So turned into text-based videos or a sidebar type graphic is posted on Instagram. The ones that have proven themselves are the ones that get repurposed and reshared the most.
And I'm fascinated by this whole idea of not relying on the company, the corporate. Is that where you're seeing growth? Are there a lot more, for instance, younger folks that are sort of gravitating to your content that are saying, yeah, I know I'm on my own in some respect, like they don't have that. So is that the content that's really hitting home, or?
Yeah, and especially like we've noticed that some of our workplace content, how to handle workplace drama, things like that, aren't going quite as popular because a lot of ours are freelancers and people doing things on their own time. They don't need to know how to navigate the traditional workplace. They need to know how to budget as a freelancer or get your name out there or how to have motivation when you're having a bad day, things like that. So it's the things that are going to affect just them. Yeah. So it's very...
We target millennials completely on .com, whereas the magazine, like you said, is
a little bit older of an audience.
Yeah, has an older target. So.
And I noticed no Snapchat.
Snapchat is something that's that's a good way to put it. We're dipping our toes in.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to my 15-year-old, only talking to him on Snapchat.
We post motivational quotes on there right now, but our mighty team of one for social media has not been able to focus on it yet.
It's a lot to take in.
It's purely anecdotal anyway. But no, I do think it's interesting.
No, there's a lot of opportunities there. We just have to figure out when to do it.
Anybody else with 30 seconds to go? Thank you very much.
Thank you.